Unicorns are startups that have become billion-dollar enterprises. They are the ultimate goal that every entrepreneur should strive for, right? Or so we have been told. But what if we ask the question, can we work together and create community-driven unicorns? Welcome to Communicorn, the podcast where we try to rethink how the community and enterprise can work together. So, in this podcast, we uncover the roles that enterprises, community-driven enterprises, play in changing society and what we can learn from them. Let's create the future together. Hi, I'm Steffen, your host of today's session of Communicorn, the podcast that explores the role of communities in creating impact enterprises. And I'm really happy to introduce Ruth, co-founder of the Avenir Collective. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Ruth, you're one of the co-founders of Avenir. It's a community-based enterprise that's running a roastery and 2 coffee shops. But you are doing things slightly differently. So to begin with, please draw us a picture of how you see Avenir and its community, ideally. What does this picture look like?
So I would describe the picture at different levels. I would say we have this inside community, so the team of Avenir. We are a collective, so in German we would say Kollektiv. So we are 10 members and we own and run the place together. But we also have a team. I think at the moment we have 20 more people who work with us and are, of course, part of the Avenir. So this is the community inside Avenir. We try to create a space where people feel safe and like to work. And then the second level, I would say, is outside of Avenir, but still in Lüneburg, the regional part. Meaning that we try to involve also our guests and our friends and partners into Avenir by creating a space where people feel welcome, where they can just stay and drink their coffee or make new friends. And also we try to give our spaces, so the rooms we have, to other groups and initiatives who are politically active or so, or need to organize things and have meetings so that they can use those. And this is also where we try to build a community to, thrive towards similar goals, societal goals. And then I would say the third level is also the part where we want to build like kind of coffee community or so. So being in a partnership with our coffee cooperatives in other countries where we get our coffee from, but also our partners who are doing the same as we do, so who import coffee and trade with coffee. And we try to connect these 3 levels of community, I would say.
It's very interesting to see that you have quite a complex understanding of community and multiple communities you're engaging in. If I compare your approach with a standard coffee place, it's very different, right? In a standard coffee place, you typically have an owner and then a few people who are hired to do a certain job, but there is not necessarily any kind of community involved and engaged in this. So if we go back to the beginning of the Avenir, how did this idea come up that actually we need to rethink the way we are running a coffee place and the community needs to be front and center in that?
So Avenir was founded actually in 2014 already by 5 friends who had the idea, or first they founded Lüneburg e.V. So they wanted to bring fair trade and ecological coffee to Lüneburg, and they got the offer to run a cafe. And I think it evolved over the time that the team was in the beginning very small, and but always the idea was that everyone can participate and create the space, not only the CEO or the founders. So, and it was 2020, 2021, we yeah, we were just talking about and thinking a lot about we want to include that more into the culture of our enterprise. So not only having participation, but trying to change the structure of the enterprise. So we also have, I think our role model, I would say, is also friends of us in Hamburg. They're called Quixote Café, where we also get our coffee from. And we thought to start a collective is a good idea to really put that into the culture of the enterprise and not just as an idea you always could change. And this is how it developed, I would say.
So it's really interesting to see that you are rethinking, I would say, participation and decision making, right? Normally you would have somebody who clearly is the responsible for a certain activity, and then that person would say how things are supposed to be done in a very simplified way. But in your case, I guess decision making takes place very differently. Maybe you can say a bit more about that.
Yes, it's very different, and it's also a process. It was a long process and still is. So to actually decide where and with whom you take which decisions in the end. In the beginning, as I said, we tried to take decisions with the whole team. So I think there were meetings with 30 to 40 people. We tried to take decisions, and at some points that also worked out, but right now it is like that the 10 people of us, the collective members, we meet once a week, and then we have our meeting, and we take also decisions, but that it's also like a meeting to give updates and decisions which are important for everyone. I mean, all decisions are important for everyone, but we have decisions which are, for example, regarding a certain amount of money we take collectively, so all together. And then we have like subgroups who are also responsible and also have the right to take own decisions, like, for example, if it's...
Can you maybe give an example? I'm thinking of bigger decisions, like you want to open a new coffee place, or at the end of the year, you actually made a profit, right? And now you have, which is a great situation, you have a surplus. Then what do you do with this? Does everybody pocket a little bit, or how do you then take decisions on such substantive matters?
That's actually an interesting example you said, because for this profit thing, we have kind of like a document where we put things together. And in the beginning, when we started the collective, we wrote this document where we put our ideas, our values, and our like kind of rules, I would say, or like guideline together. And there we decided that we won't distribute profit to ourselves. So this is also what differentiates us to other companies, or like a common company enterprise. So if we make a profit or more profit one day, then we would decide it all together, like in this meeting, or like once a week. This profit we could use for like we could raise our salary up to a certain amount, or we could also fund it, or also we have to pay back loans, and so, but we won't like put it in our own pockets. But this is how we then decided. So we like, some people would prepare it, and then we discuss it, and we have to, at that point, these big decisions, everyone has to agree. So if one person does not agree, we have to find other solutions. So we discuss.
It's really agreement by, or decision making by consensus, like 100%. It's not by majority, but it's by consensus. So everybody has a voting right, and then you would have to find another solution.
Yes, in this case it is. So these big decisions we try to take in consensus, and if you're, it's also a kind of an agreement that if you do not agree, it's kind of a veto then. We try to find different solutions. It's not, because sometimes like status quo cannot just stay like this. So you have to take a decision. And then there's this like this circle. So you try to find new solutions and vote again. And if they're still not working out for everyone, then it goes.
It sounds a little bit like a complicated model. I mean, it's very participatory, but it surely comes with its conflict. So can you maybe share one or two instances where really a conflict emerged that was really difficult to resolve in the end? Because sometimes I can imagine that members of the community, of the cooperative, they have really different preferences, right? I mean, even if you agree on a certain mission for the organization, we're different people, we have our different preferences and ideas what should happen. So how do you then, what were these conflicts that were difficult to resolve? And maybe you have some tricks to share how others can learn from you in really finding a good solution.
I think one example was also connected to raising our salaries or not. Yeah, the problem there was that the financial situation of Avenir was not so clear, and there were different preferences of, I mean, at least in the end, everyone wanted the same to earn a bit. I have to say that we do not earn so much money at the moment. So this was the part of the decision was, okay, can we raise our salaries? And we had different opinions to that. So because I think the priorities were set differently. And I think the main problem in this decision taking was that we did not have so clear this decision process of what I explained before. So how actually works consens? Because in the end, if you're in a different opinion, or if you have a different opinion, it's hard sometimes to accept that if someone gives a veto, just to find another solution. So it's a lot of compromises also. So I think this was a big conflict in the end. So because it was hard to find a consensus. And what we learned also from other conflicts is this part that you really have to have a clear process of how this consensus decision taking works. And what to do if there's a veto, or what to do if there's just a person. We have also an agreement, you can give a veto, but this is like the last option. And before you can say that you do not agree so much, but you can take the decision. And this is also something you have to learn, that it's fine.
So it's basically you were able to establish processual guidelines, kind of how you want to work together in these situations.
Yes, I would say so. And to also to try to understand why people have this other opinion, because there's always a reason. And especially in this kind of community we're in, I would say we have the same or similar values, and we're striving for same goals. So it's also a process of learning to see that other people have the other opinion or want to do it differently because they have a different goal, or do not want to work with you in that way, or I don't know.
I would like to pick up what you just said regarding the goals. So in this podcast, we are really interested in understanding the type of impact that you want to create. So could you maybe share that? So what is the, let's say, kind of change that you really want to create through Avenir in society maybe? And so what is this goal that hopefully everybody agrees on, at least to some extent in the organization?
So I would say the overall goal of Avenir is to live alternative and sustainable structures. and break a bit with usual paradigms of capitalism. So we try to organize ourselves differently and try to spread this this idea of organization, and also this idea of building communities and working more in communities instead of working in competition. And I think this also is related to the way of how we think about coffee trade. So we want to spread this idea of thinking coffee trade differently. So making visible how the structures work at the moment, and try to do it in a transparent way, and working there more on at eye level and not at the expense of other people or on of environment.
Clearly, that's a very noble aspiration that you have, but typically this comes with some complications and downsides, right? I could imagine that you need to reach a certain scale, so in certain turnover and size in order to make this actually profitable. If not, you would have to raise the prices enormously. So how do you engage with this, let's say, complicated, paradoxical situation that you want to obviously create impact, but also you need to make some money, you need to make some profit, and maybe you need to even grow the enterprise in order to be able to do this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's actually a daily conflict. But we try to do that, I would say, through our network and our communications. So, of course, we need to reach a certain scale to reach other people. So I also would say that opening up a roastery was very important for us to reach more people, to see that we make coffee and that we also care about how our coffee is produced, where it comes from. But I think it's also important to have these boundaries of growth. So to find this point where you have to stop to grow, but still can reach people. And this is why we try to do it through this community-based approach, I think. So also we are quite well connected to other collectives, other enterprises in Hamburg. We meet every 3 months with a couple of roasteries and import partners in Hamburg to be together a bigger, like how would you say, a bigger
collective, or
kind of, or a bigger network. I would say. And together we also already did some projects, and there you can use then their network to even reach more people. So I think that would be the approach we would like to follow more, that instead of like growing and growing.
Interesting. So if I understand you correctly, basically you don't want to grow as an organization that much anymore, but you want to basically maximize, amplify your impact through cooperating, through new forms of building networks, sharing maybe knowledge, resources, etc. Is that so?
Yes, I would say so. We also have to, at the moment, Avenir also have to grow in some terms to financially survive.
We're already coming towards the end. So are there any new directions or challenges or even dreams that you have with Avenir? What makes you excited that you want to get out of the bed every morning at the moment?
So I think what motivates me to work in Avenir and with Avenir is basically this community thing. So the people. So I think that we can reach together even more than just by our own. And I think our dream, or my dream, I don't know if I talk for everybody in Avenir, but is to grow this community. So have a bigger community also globally, and spread this idea of working together, and also especially the focus on the coffee trade market, to spread this idea of trading differently and more at on eye level. So I think this kind of is a dream to have a network which is not only in Lüneburg, Hamburg, and this region, but create there a bigger community, which is also not only regarding the topic of coffee, but also in other terms, and have an impact there on how you think about working together and being together, not only at work.
Mm-hmm. As a final step of today's conversation, I would like us to play a little game. So please picture a triangle, and one corner is labeled enterprise, the other one impact, and the third corner is labeled community. Where would you position Avenir?
I think I would put Avenir in the middle. Mm-hmm. I'd say, because in the end we have parts of everything. So even though we're not a common enterprise, in the end we are an enterprise. But I think with this kind of way we're organizing ourselves, we build a community and try through that have an impact to society. Maybe I would put the point a bit more towards community and impact from the idea, like the basic idea of Avenir. Yeah.
Great. That brings us to the end of the discussion. Thank you, Ruth, for being with us today and for sharing all your experiences. I think we learned a great deal about running a community-based enterprise. And now it's your turn. Take these insights and make change happen. So let's create, connect, and make a difference in the world. Stay tuned and follow us on Communicorn. Goodbye.